I'm embarrassed. Lockdown. I'm gonna lose my job. This is childish. I downloaded Tinder. I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride. That's not awkward at all, is it? He knew what she was laughing at. I denied that I liked him. What? Because it gets beefy. Do you see my issue? My life's falling apart. I think we need a chat. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, in which case, hi, hello. Hope you're having a great day. I've just got my first ever ring light and wow. I am officially 20 years old. What? Today I'm sitting down with you guys and I am having a little bit of a life update. Basically just to have a chat and make me feel like I'm talking to someone, even though like I'm literally talking to my phone. I know sitting down and having this chat with you guys will make me feel a lot better, even if nobody cares, even if absolutely nobody watches this. Hopefully it's going to make me feel better, as I am struggling quite a bit at the minute. Personally, I am struggling with my mental health. A lot of things have happened and changed in my life, and probably going to get emotional in this video, like I do in most videos. Yeah, that's just typical me. If you are watching this and you do care, like, I'm gonna be fine. I'm struggling at the minute, I'm finding it really hard, but in the end, I'm gonna be fine. If you would like to give me or anybody else that may possibly be watching this any advice at all, I'm sure it'll be appreciated. Just drop it in the comments below. The last time I did a life update was in September, October 2019. It was just after I deferred my place at uni. And wow, yeah, a lot of things have changed. If you didn't know, in 2019, I finished my A-levels. I took biology, chemistry and maths A-levels, which I got 3 A stars in. Subsequently, I had secured a place at the University of York to study mathematics. However, I did defer this place to start September 2020 and I took a gap year. This was mainly because I just wasn't sure on the course. I just didn't feel confident that uni was the right thing for me, and oh my days, it was such a good decision. I'm so glad I took that gap year. In this gap year, I got 2 jobs, one in a supermarket and one as a waitress. It has been pretty full on. But whilst I was working both those jobs, I genuinely felt, I was looking back on my decision and stuff, and I just felt happy. I knew that had been the right decision for me. I'd built up money and I'd made new friends. I'd gone out and done new things with new friends. Then we hit March, lockdown. As a consequence, I was furloughed from my waitressing job, which actually worked out so good for me and is still working out fairly good for me, because it meant I could work more hours at the supermarket. I'm contracted to 25 and tend to do about 35. One week I did 60 hours. Like, I'd literally do 5 AM start and finish at about 4:30, and then I'd go to the restaurant after that. This was like during like the main panic buying season because everything was so busy. That was a good payday, trust me. Where was I going with that? So basically I could work more hours at my supermarket because I didn't need to be at the restaurant because it was closed. So I was getting paid more from there whilst also getting paid furlough from my restaurant. So I was just getting paid both for only doing one. Prior to this lockdown though, the supermarket I work at is relatively small. So we have about like 30 members of staff maybe, if that, maybe a little bit more. I'm genuinely not sure. But we are a very small supermarket in comparison to others which would have like 200 members of staff. So we have about 30. And I had been the newest staff member for 6 months. I started in September and nobody else joined until February. So in February we took on 2 new people and they were both boys around my age. See where this is going. Got on with them both okay. One was very annoying and left very shortly after. But then this other boy is still with us now, and let's say he is called Fred. Fred is important to the story. Very important, in fact. I find it really hard to tell story times. I love them so much, but I just keep going back and forth and I'm so confused. Please bear with me. My grandma is in her 70s and she was isolating as best as she could throughout this lockdown. You know, we've been doing a shopping for her, we're still doing a shopping for her, but she'd get very lonely because she lives on her own. So my dad would make a habit of ringing her every night to see how she was, and every time he was ringing up in April time, she was saying that she wasn't feeling very well, in the sense of she had no energy. I have literally just explained everything wrong to do with my grandma, and I don't know if that's going to respect her privacy or not. So if I cut all of that out, basically my grandma is ill. She had an absolutely appalling time when she went to doctors to say she was ill. The way she was treated was absolutely appalling. What they prescribed would have killed her if she hadn't gone back sooner. They have now found what is wrong. It's not curable, but it is treatable. So she is undergoing treatment, and she does have an extremely weakened immune system at the minute, which means she still needs to isolate, cannot catch coronavirus at all, and I obviously can't see her, my family can't see her. It's been a long time since we've been able to see her properly, and you know, as much as I say, oh, it's fine and it doesn't affect me, mentally it does start to wear on you even if you don't know it. I bought her an orchid in April when she was going through all of this, just to try and cheer her up a bit, and it is still alive 6 months down the line. Go on, Aldi. Hopefully she's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. But yeah, that is one aspect of this story. My grandma is ill. Part of that as well is that people at work don't know, and there have been times where I've been upset at work and I just struggle to tell people, like, I can't just say, oh, my grandma's ill, like, I can't do that. So it's nice to think that you guys know, whilst also respecting my grandma's privacy. Another aspect of this story is my sister. Coronavirus has had a massive impact, obviously with lockdown, so me being furloughed from my job, my grandma having to isolate, my sister now very, very extreme OCD. Because of the virus and everything Boris Johnson and Health Secretary say, you know, wash your hands for 2 minutes, wash them very consistently, sanitize, all that. Her hands are red raw. She washes her hands all the time. Obviously with family we want to be there for her, but sometimes it is so hard. In July, most of my supermarket friends all transferred to a new store. This meant we had to take on a lot more staff at my store, which means yay, new friends. However, it also means, you know, goodbye friends. And I have found that hard. I'm a person that doesn't like change. I was in the same school for 7 years. I don't like change. I like everything to stay the same people, and everything just changed all at once. It wasn't like one person left, one person joined. It was literally 15 people left, 15 people joined. So everything changed, the whole dynamic of the store changed, and it's just been strange. Also in June, July time, I started meeting up with Fred outside of work. We went on little drives, or we went and got kebabs, and it was just nice to have somebody to chat to. And when he would take me home from work at night, because he does drive, I walk, so I would normally go on like a half-an-hour walk home. He actually lives the opposite way to me. It's like a 20-minute drive home for him, but it's 5 minutes down the road the opposite way for me. So he would quite often give me a lift home, and then we'd pull up opposite my house and we'd sit there for about an hour and a half every time, just chatting about absolute random stuff, which was so nice. It was so nice to have a friend like that you could just talk to and spend that time with. August, I moved on to flexi furlough. My restaurant had been open again for a little while, and I eventually got called back to work. I was the last person out of all the staff at the restaurant to be called back to work because they know I have this other job. They obviously have to work around my rota. Yeah, I moved on to flexi furlough, which basically means if I worked less than 10 hours a fortnight from actually going back to work, I'd still get the full 10 hours paid. So if I worked 5 hours, I'd get £100. If I worked 3 hours, I'd get £100. Whereas if I worked 12 hours, I'd get paid for 12 hours. So if I worked more hours than I would have been paid on furlough, I'll get that. But if I work less, I'll still get my full furlough. Does that make sense? So basically, because I've got this other job, I know I'm not going to be able to do more than 10 hours. So I'm like, give me the least shifts possible. I will do 2 hours worth of work, or I will turn up and I will not even clock in. I'll just sit there and that's fine by me because I'm getting paid either way. Literally doesn't matter. So good for me at the minute, because sometimes the restaurant will be quiet, which means you'll come to clock on and the manager will be like, oh, we don't need you at the minute. So you just sit there and wait to clock on and won't get paid. Whereas this time, I'm getting paid to sit there. Going back from flexi furlough, I did about 1 shift a week. However, due to the coronavirus, since reopening, my restaurant stopped taking cash, which meant I was getting no tips. And that is essentially what I work for in the restaurant. I work for tips. I'm on minimum wage as a waitress. It's really not worth the money because I have to travel there. The cost of the bus or fuel for a car or taxi just isn't worth it. It's the cash tips that make it, and obviously they aren't reliable because you don't know if you're going to get them or not, but when you do get them, it's so motivating as well. It's someone saying thank you. It just makes me really happy. But I'm not getting that at the minute, and I'm also not getting any hours, so this is leading to something. Ultimately, the restaurant sat me down a couple of weeks ago and they said, we want you to leave, basically. They were basically like, you work too many hours at the supermarket. We can't give you enough hours here. We want to hire new staff that are going to be able to work full time, do 20 hours a week, and they can't get that, so we can't hire them because we're giving you 4 hours a week. Which I understand in their respect, like, I get it. However, when I first went for the interview, because I didn't have the supermarket job, I asked for a full-time position and they gave me 10 hours. I was like, I cannot survive off 10 hours, which is why I then got the supermarket job. So it was sort of their fault. I love working at the restaurant. I don't often, and I dread the shifts. When I see it coming, I'm like, oh my god, no, I don't want to go. But then when I actually get there, quite often I really do enjoy it. It is stressful, but I think it's such a good experience. Although obviously it is minimum wage and I'm not getting tips at the minute, so if they're asking me to choose between them, I either get good pay, good standard pay that I know I'm going to get, or I get no hours, no tips, and I have to travel to get there and stuff at this restaurant. So it's like, which one do I choose between? It's going to have to be the supermarket. Another option within that though is cutting down my hours at the supermarket, which make it more awkward for them, which I don't really want to do, to then do more hours at the restaurant. But If you've got any advice on this, please let me know, because honestly, my life's falling apart. I don't know what to do. Like, I've had it so good being able to work 2 jobs, and now they're saying I can't work 2 jobs. Another thing in that though, like, they are saying I'm not available enough for them to give me shifts. However, this week I'm on holiday from the supermarket. I'm fully available, literally doing nothing all week, apart from the fact I've got the dentist in about 2 hours. But it's, you know, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, like the restaurant's not even open. And the restaurant knew I was off all week. I'm fully available. They've not given me 1 shift. How can you say I'm not available enough when I'm fully available? Do you see my issue? So, on top of my grandma being ill, my sister being mentally ill, the restaurant wanting to fire me, I then got led on. Yep, I'm having a great time. I'm just having a wonderful time. So, good old Fred. Like I said, we would spend hours chatting after work. One time he pulled up at my house and we both went in and we were sat at the table playing cards, eating ice cream until 1:30 in the morning. And we finished work at 10:30. We had good chats, but I thought we were just friends. Like, I thought we were just friends and that was all it was going to be, because we'd known each other since February. Like, nothing was developing. Yeah, we had a spark and we were a bit flirty at the start, but like, nothing was really developing. And like, when we did have conversations and stuff, he would say things like, oh, I want to be single, because he was still getting over this girlfriend he had last year. He also said things like his friends had put him on a 4-month sex ban, and he'd chat to me about other girls that he'd seen and he'd be like, oh, I'd definitely go for her, she's well fit. So I was like, yeah, we're just friends, you're definitely not interested in me, that's great, that's sound, literally don't care. But then he'd say things like, he'd tell somebody else I worked with that he was going to drop me off, and the guy he just told would be like, I hope she's going to let you take her on a date after all this. I came into the room just at that time and I was like, don't matter, he's not interested. And he turned around and was like, I can't believe you just said I'm not interested. Obviously I am. What? Keep hold of that comment, because it gets beefy. Then we got to my birthday. If you haven't seen my birthday vlog, watch it, because I explain it in that. You'll watch me cry. And I found it so hard watching it back, because everything I'm about to tell you all happened a couple of days after I finished that vlog. I watched that back to edit it and it was like, oh, everything you didn't know that was about to happen. It just blows my mind. Basically what happens in that video is he ignored me over my birthday. We were going to go to golf together, as it was something that we both wanted to do. It was coming up to my birthday, we were both off, we were like, right, we're going to go. And then it got to the point where I was going to book it and he just aired me, just completely ignored me all day. So we were planning on going at about 7 o'clock at night, right? So I was there all day waiting for a reply to this text, wondering all day, are we going? And it gets to about 5 o'clock when I'd normally put my pyjamas on, and I don't know if I'm going out at 7 o'clock or not, so I've just got to stay there. And I'm like, can I put my pyjamas on, can I not? And then he replies the next day, it's like, well, I'm not going then, am I? I was very, very upset, as you will see in that video. And I believe I actually said in that, I was like, either he's got a good excuse and he's going to make it up to me, or that's it. Well, that's it. The following week, he dropped me off home. He offered me a lift though, and whilst we were walking out the door, the manager was still there and saw us leaving together, and she laughed. He turned around to me and was like, I don't know what she is laughing at. I was like, neither do I. It's like, I don't know what she's laughing at. He knew what she was laughing at. So when he gets to my house, we pull up as usual and we have a very emotional conversation. I was hoping that he was going to give me a lift home so that we could obviously discuss my birthday, and we could talk about it, because I was annoyed at him and I needed to give him a chance to explain himself. We were talking about, each other's mental health, what had happened in our lives. And then he ultimately said that he'd started seeing somebody. And this manager that had laughed when he saw us leaving together knew about his girlfriend. The manager had asked, are you still going to take her home? Because, your girlfriend might not like it. And that when she saw us leaving together, that was obviously what she was laughing at. And he knew that at the time. I was crying. He was upset. He basically said this. I said, I hope you feel really bad. I got out of the car and I went home, and I had to work with him again the next day. He didn't give me a lift home that day, didn't even offer, he just left me stood there. Like, yep, sound. Not spoken to him at all since, not on Snapchat, not in person, not planning on doing so, and I'm gonna be on a till on my next shift and he's gonna be on the next till, and it's just gonna be bad. It's awkward now though. It's awkward at work because people know at work about his girlfriend. It's like he'll be in the warehouse and they'll all be laughing and they'll be saying, oh, you meeting up with your girlfriend tonight? And they'll be joking like, oh yeah, and then I'll walk in and the room goes silent, and I'm just like, that's not awkward at all, is it? It's horrible. As far as I'm aware, they all think that I don't know. I've got a week's holiday now though, so it might have all changed by the time I go back. I'm embarrassed, to be honest. I'm being completely honest with you, and I'm finding this really hard to do so because Fred could easily watch this video. He doesn't know about it, but he could watch this video. Likewise, anybody from work could watch this video and completely see how I feel. And you know, that's not something I want. Hi, if you're watching this. I really wish you weren't watching this. I was embarrassed and I denied it. I denied that I liked him because as far as I was aware, we were just friends and I wanted to be friends. When I got out of the car, one of the last things I said to him was like, you need to let your girlfriend know about me because I want to be your friend. I don't want to be your work friend, I want to be your friend. You can't just use me at work and then drop me outside of work. Like, you can't do that. You need to let me know which one it is. And he's not let me know. He's not said a word to me since, so that answers my question pretty much, doesn't it? It means I meant absolutely nothing to him as a friend. He just doesn't care about me because he couldn't even tell her, or he couldn't even bother to tell me. But I was very, very upset when I went home. I got in the house and I sat there, got a big bowl of ice cream, and I cried and I cried. And I don't know whether I was upset in terms because I liked him. If I did, like, I don't know whether I liked him or not. I might have done. Because I do feel like he led me on. He did lead me on with what he said. He led me on. So I don't know whether I was upset because I liked him or because I've lost him as a friend. I'm not fully sure, but I was very, very upset. And even if I didn't like him as more than that, it made me question, like, what's wrong with me? Why did you have to get somebody else? What is wrong with me? And why does nobody else ever like me? Like, literally, head to toe, personality or not, what is wrong with me? And that is a conversation that I'd really love to have. Like, you just want to know what is wrong with you, but that would it would be a horrible conversation as well. Like, if somebody said, oh, I don't like your hair, like, how is that going to benefit me? So it's not a conversation I want to have, really. But I've had other people like me more than I like them before, and I've had to let them down. This is the first time I've been on the other end of it, which is, you know, it's a good experience. It's something I need to do in life. But my God, is it rubbish. So yeah, I got a big bowl of ice cream and I downloaded Tinder. I sat there with my ice cream, crying my eyes out, downloaded Tinder, got in chatting to a guy, and I met up with him. I left my house at 1 o'clock in the morning and I got back about 4. Went back to his house. We just had really, really nice chats, and honestly, he was such a lovely guy. And he did drop me back home. Like, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. He could have easily said, no, I'm not taking you home. Like, that was the risk I took. He could have said, no, I'm not taking you home, and just left me there. Like, I could have had to walk home in the middle of the night. I've not spoken to him since, but I said, this is childish. I put a Snapchat story on of me in his car with the time on at, you know, 3:30 in the morning, whatever time it was, like, late night adventures with a red love heart. And I put that on my story, just hoping that he would see it. Just hoping that he would see it. I didn't care about anybody else, just wanted him to see it. And he saw it, and I was so happy when he saw it. Like, I can't even explain to you how happy it made me. It's so childish, but it made me so happy because it made me feel a bit more mysterious, because he dropped me off home. He knows I don't drive. I can't go anywhere, so it's, whose car is that? After I dropped her off at her house at 11 o'clock at night, she's gone back out again. Where is she gone? He does not know. Even though you do not care, it made me feel a lot better. And I apologise to that guy because it was really, really nasty. Well, not nasty because, yeah, because it wasn't really fair to use him like that, and I do apologise. Me and Fred, I don't think we would have worked as a couple anyway. We are into completely different things, and to be honest, the friendship we had, now looking back on it, was quite a few times quite toxic. Like, I would be the one that was having to make the effort, and every time I'd say, oh, do you want to do this? He'd be like, no, can't. No, don't want to. No, let me know nearer the time. I'm saying this, and now it's making it sound like I kept pushing it and he wasn't interested, but, like, I just can't explain. We were good friends. We were good friends. But, like, he'd always meet up with his other friends, and he'd never make time for me. Like, he could make plans with them, but he couldn't make plans with me. And now he's got a girlfriend. He's like, oh, I make plans with her every single night. We meet up after work. We go out before work. Like, I spend every hour of my day with her. And I'm like, where was I? Why couldn't you make that effort with me as a friend? Where was that effort? All linking back to this is the fact that I was thinking about giving up both my volunteering. Volunteering hasn't started back since lockdown. I was planning on giving up my volunteering and my restaurant job so I'd have more free time to spend with Fred and other friends. And now Fred has effed off and everything is falling apart. My grandma's ill, my sister's ill, I'm going to lose my job, and I've lost my friend. Why is my life falling apart? I can't see my best friend because she's at uni, and I want to reach out to old friends. I need to just go and meet up with old friends from school and have like a cocktails night, but lockdown, I can't. I'm not allowed to. I can't reach out to anyone, and I am struggling. I'm finding it hard. Because I thought out of anyone. Because I thought if anyone would be there for me, it would be Fred. I know he's not. And, you know, explaining all this back to you has made me feel better. It's made me think about things clearer. It's like, why did I think that Fred was going to be there? Because from what I've said, it doesn't make sense that it would be. It sounds like he just was never interested and he just never wanted to spend time with me. But when you're sat in a car with someone for an hour and a half every night, having really deep conversations, you think that person's going to be there. He was the first person that I was able to talk to in a very, very long time. You know, and he's here. He's not across the country, so he was here. I thought he would have been there for me, but he wasn't, and he will not be. So I'm on my own. I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and I've got to deal with this on my own. So yeah, I think that's why I'm upset that I've lost him as a friend more than lost him as a romance interest, because we wouldn't have worked like that. We just wouldn't have done, and it's not good to mix that with work either. But like, now everything's messed up at work anyway because he was a flipping rubbish friend. I do have some other lovely, lovely friends at work, don't get me wrong. I have people that I love to see I'm on shift with, as you know, it's going to be such a good day. However, absolutely none of those friends drive, and it's difficult. When none of you drive, it limits your friendship to work, especially when you all live in different areas. Like, it's just not easy to meet up. Hopefully I am going to learn to drive next year though. That was emotional. Thank you so much guys for listening to me if you've made it this far. If you have got any advice for me, please let me know, because I am struggling. I cried for quite a few days following this incident with Fred. I don't feel alright at the minute, but I will be eventually, and that's what I have to keep focusing on. I am going to be okay. You know what? One day maybe I will be a bride. Going on that Tinder date as well though has also made me realise that is really not how I want to meet someone. A lot of the people I work with met their partners either in work or through online dating. I absolutely do not want to meet someone through online dating. Luckily the guy was really, really lovely, but it's just not a risk I want to take in future. That's all I can say, but I will get through this. You will get through this if you're going through a rough time yourself. We will be okay. Also let me know whether you think I was right or not. Should I give him another chance? Should I not give him another chance? Or what do you think about the whole situation? Because my head's all over the place. What should I also do about work as well? Should I leave the restaurant? Should I cut down my hours to go back there? Because I haven't got friends to hang out with anymore, so what do I need the spare time for? Let me know. In no way at all did I mean this video to be like, oh, look at me, look at everything that's happened in my life, like everything's going wrong, because absolutely that is not the case. I just needed to have a vent, because at the end of the day, I haven't got anybody else to talk to at the minute. I've got this phone and that's it, and this has made me feel a lot better. But I apologise if that is the way it has come across. Other people have so much worse circumstances. They have other things going on in their life, and I apologise if that is you. One thing I've learned in life is that everybody is always dealing with their own problems. So yeah, I've got my own things going on, and I'm disappointed that Fred hasn't been there for me throughout that. He could quite easily have his own things going on as well at home that I don't know about, because maybe he didn't feel comfortable telling me and I haven't been able to tell him. I never think there can just be a be all and end all. We all need to always look out for each other. Thank you for watching. Bye.